Namaste. In the previous class, we discussing about nature of the farm management, and also in the previous study, we discussing about farm planning. In the case of the farm planning, it is a more of the science of the decision making. It is a more of the science of the decision making in which there is organization and the management of the limited resources in the given piece of the farmland is going to take place. So achieving the mandates of the farm management can be possible. So apart from the farm planning, right, once after developing the farm plan, then we're having the syllabus we called as the farm budgeting. So whatever this, so farm budgeting mean it is a more of the expression of the farm plan, expression of the farm plan in the monetary terms. In the monetary terms can be called as budgeting, can be called as budgeting. So in the case of the farm budgeting, in the case of the budgeting, right, there is the estimation of the cost and return. Estimation of the cost and return is going to take place. The cost and return is going to take place for the given enterprise in the given farm can be called as budgeting. So in this case, there is analyzing the cost and expenditure, analyzing the cost and the revenue is going to take place for the given enterprises in the farm can be called as budgeting. Within the farm budgeting, again we are having the two type of the budgeting. One is the partial budget, one is the partial budget, another is the complete budget. Another is the complete budget. Complete budget. Right. So in the case of the partial budget, right, for example, in the given piece of the land, the farmer is taking the some units for the crop production and some units is using for the dairy enterprises and some units is using for the apiculture and some units is using for the other like for example mushroom culture, the mushroom culture it is. Okay, so in these cases, whenever if we estimate the cost and return for the part of the enterprise, in the given farm can be called as the partial budget. So sometimes it is also called as enterprise budgeting this thing. And second one we are having the complete budget. In the case of the complete budget, analyzing the cost and return is going to take place for all the enterprise, is going to take place for all the enterprises in the given model can be called as complete budgeting. Now I'm repeating one second. So in the case of the budgeting, we are having the two type of the budgeting. One is the partial budget, another is the complete budget. In the case of the partial budget, estimation of the cost and return is going to take place for the only for the one enterprise in the given piece of the model can be called as partial budget. But in the case of the complete budget, estimating the both the cost and return is going to take place for all the enterprises in the given area can be called as complete budgeting. So in these cases, right, so these are the elements we'll be discussing today. One is what you understand by the farm budgeting and types of the farm budgeting. Types matlab we are having the one is the enterprise budgeting. Enterprise matlab partial budget. Partial budget sometimes it is also called as enterprise budgeting. Another is the complete budgeting. Then difference between the partial and complete budgeting. Then why farm budgeting is required here? Because with the help of the budgeting, right, so it helps in analyzing the allocation of the cost and return. It helps in allocation of the expenditure for the different kind of enterprise can be possible, and also based on the budgeting we can able to know the economic feasibility. We can able to know the economic visibility of the given enterprise, right? Economic feasibility of the given enterprise can be possible. According to the feasibility, the science of the decision making is going to take place for the future seasons here. So that is the nature of the mechanisms we have in the case of the budgeting. Then why partial budgeting is required in the enterprises? Then we are having the conclusion. See, in the case of the farm budgeting, again we can expect the minimum the 10 marks questions we can expect in the case of the farm budgeting. So in the farm management we are having the two topics. One is the farm planning, another is the farm budgeting. So among these two topics, always every year we can expect the one questions here. Either it can be farm planning or farm budgeting. In the case of the budgeting, it is a more of the presentation of the cost and return for the any enterprises. For the any enterprises in the given piece of the farmland can be called as budgeting. With the help of this budgeting, we can able to know the economic visibility of the enterprise, whether it is economically feasible or not for the farmers. According to that, the farmer is going to take the decision what to produce, when to produce, how to produce and how much to produce. So these are the science of the decision making can be possible in the given piece of the land it is. Okay. So again we are having some definition for the farm budgeting. So definition for the farm budgeting, it is a more of the expression of the farm plan. Expression of the farm plan, right? In the case of the monetary term, by assessing the receipts come expenditure, assessing the receipts come expenditure and profit in the given firm enterprise is called as firm budgeting. So whatever the firm plan will be there, expressing the same firm plan in the monetary terms can be called as firm budgeting. So in other words, the budget is essentially the presentation of the cost and return, presentation of the cost and return for the any enterprises, in the given model, right, for the given enterprises. So this means the both firm planning and firm budgeting, the goes side by side, in order to achieve the mandates of the firm management. Because in the first class we said our mandates in the case of the firm management, utilizing the limited resources in the best manner is the first mandate. Second one, as much as possible we have to minimize the cost, by using the best enterprises here. Third one, we have to maximize the profit to the farmers in the long run. So these are the three mandates here. One is the utilizing the resource in the best manner, and minimization of the cost and maximization of the profit is the major mandates we have in the case of the farm management. So in order to achieve those mandates, right, such kind of the nature of the mechanism is very important in the case of the budgeting it is. So here in this case, as we said that we are having the two type of the firm budgeting. So we are having one is the partial budget, sometimes it is also called as enterprise budgeting. So in this cases, for example, in the given piece of the land, the farmer is using the some land for the crop production, some land for the sheep rearing, some land for the goat farming, some land is using for the aqua farming it is. So in this cases, he is estimating the cost and return, for the part of the enterprise can be called as partial budget. For example, in this cases, we are recording the cost and return for the only for the goat enterprise, then it is called as partial budgeting. See, whenever if you want to write this one, writing the diagrams are most important in the case of the UPSC examination. Writing the diagrams are most important in the UPSC examination. And second one, we are having the complete budget. In the case of the complete budget, as we said that, right, in these cases, we are estimating the cost and return. For all the enterprises in the given model can be called as complete budget. We are estimating the cost and return for the sugarcane, spices, fishery and poultry enterprises. So according to that, we can able to know which one is having the more economic feasibility. According to that, the enterprise will be taken for the future seasonalities. That is the mechanisms we have in this second part. So apart from that, we are having the way the firm budgeting is required, because we said that, so it is a more of analyzing the cost and return for the given enterprise. Once after analyzing the cost and return, we will get to know the net profit. According to the net profit, we can able to know the leakages in the given enterprise, and according to the leakages, we can able to know which one is the best practices and which one is the best enterprises. So according to that, science of the decision making is going to take place even with the help of the firm budgeting it is. So in these cases, it helps in comparing the efficiency of the one enterprise with the another one in the given region. Comparing the efficiency of the one enterprise with another enterprise in the given region is the one point we have. Second one, to find out the best combination of the firm enterprises, because we said in the given model, there are the different enterprise can be possible. So according to the consumer demand from the market side, we are finding the best combination of the enterprise. Wherever we are having the more feasibility, according to that, selection of the enterprise is going to take place. Third one, we are having the analyzing the different production technique. Production technique means we are having some are the organic farming, some are the inorganic farming, some are the natural farming, some are the hydroponics, some are the protected agriculture. So these are the nature of the ways we have in the cultivation of the crops. So in all the methods, we are checking the feasibility, where we are getting the more profit and where we are minimizing the cost of the production. So according to that, selecting the right production technique can be possible with the help of the firm budgeting it is. Then it helps in comparing the different enterprise, from the one to the another one with respect to the cost and return it is. Then it helps in analyzing the expenses, then income and profit from the individual enterprises. Then it also enhances the livelihood of the farmers. So with the help of this analysis, right, so indirectly it improves the economic position of the farmers can be increasable by increasing the income from the the old farm enterprises and efficient distribution and utilization of the labors can be possible. Even with the calculation, even with the analysis of the farm budgeting, these are the utilization and distribution can be possible. Then assessment of the future income can be possible by detecting the input cost. We can able to predict the kind of the future income in the given enterprise can be possible. Then it helps to know the required amount of the resources and input which is required for the given input it is. Okay, so these are the some benefits we have. Apart from this, other benefits from the farm budgeting is it helps to know about the credit needs, how much credit is required for the part of the enterprise, and also it helps in realigning the farm plan according to the government policies and subsidies. Subsidies matlab we are having the subsidy for the micro irrigation, subsidy for the farm equipments. According to the subsidy, we are making the farm plan. According to the policies, we are making the farm plan. Such plan is going to implement in the given farm plan. Okay, that is the one advantages we have. Then it will increase the productivity of the different enterprises, because with the help of this approach we can able to know the leakages. With the help of the leakages analysis, productivity can be increasable over the period of the time. Then to know about the leakages or wastages in the farming can be possible with the help of this analysis. Then it helps in minimizing the cost of the production, then determining the changes in the cropping pattern and data affected by the internal and external factors here. Then it helps in checking and comparing the economic feasibility of the enterprises. So whenever you are having the more economic feasibility, in that cases selecting the enterprise chances will be more. Accordingly, such enterprises will be taken over the period of the time it is. So these are the major significance or benefits can be possible when we are having the budgeting in the given piece of the land it is. Okay. Then apart from that, we are having the need of the partial budgeting. So partial budgeting matlab we said it is applicable only for the part of the enterprises. So in these cases, why it is required matlab it is needed for the adoption of the new enterprises. In the place of the old one. It is whenever if you want to replace the new technology with the old one, so partial budgeting is required. Then for expanding the existing enterprises, for example, today you are cultivating the 5 acres of the potato, but still you want to expand the potato production in the given place. In that cases, whatever the additional cost will be there, that additional cost can be called as partial budgeting it is. Then for buying the agriculture machine, whenever if you want to buy the agriculture machine within the crop production, then such cost can be called as partial budgeting, and equipment, pesticide, fertilizer need. So all these costs, whatever the cost will be spent on these following the items can be called as partial budgeting. That is the need we have in the case of the partial budgeting it is. So here we are having some differences between the partial budgeting, another is the complete budgeting. So in the partial budgeting, it requires a lesser investment. But in the case of the complete budget, we require the heavy investment, because here it is in the partial budget, it is applicable only for the part of the enterprise. That is the reason it required only lesser investment, and heavy investment is required in the case of the complete aspect. Then it considered for making the minor changes in the farm business. So with the help of the partial budget, only we can able to make the minor changes in the given model. But in the case of the complete budget, with help of it helps in considering making the complete changes in the farm business can be possible. Then in the case of the partial budget, it consider only the variable cost. Right? Whatever the variable factors will be there, right? So whatever the cost we spent on the variable factors, such things will called as variable cost. But in the case of the complete, it consider both fixed and the variable cost, fixed plus the variable cost. Then it is a more of the simple and easy method of the calculation partial budget. But in the case of the complete, it takes more time for calculating the such budgeting technique. Then it is relevant to the estimation of the cost and return for the part of the enterprise. Estimation of the cost and return for the part of the enterprise. But in the case of the complete, it is relevant to the estimation of the cost and return for all the enterprises. Is called as complete budgeting it is. Then It does not consider the complementary and supplementary relationship. It does not consider the complementary and supplementary relationship in the production. So complementary matlab we are having some relationship in the production. So especially whenever if you cultivate the cereal along with the legumes, there is a complementary relationship can be possible. The legume will fixes atmosphere nitrogen, so accordingly more growth in the cereal can be possible. That is the nature of the relationship, can be called as complementary relationship in the crop production. Like that we are having the supplementary relationship. But in the case of the complete budgeting, it considers the all the type of the relationship in the crop production can be possible. But in the partial budgeting, such relationships are not counted. But in the complete budgeting, even such nature of the mechanisms will be considered in estimating the cost and return. Then it does not indicate the break-even point because we are considering only variable cost here. And in the case of the complete budgeting, based on the by considering the fixed and variable cost, estimating the break-even point can be possible. Then impact may be short-lived here. Impact may be short-lived, but in the case of the complete budget, it is having the long-lasting impact can be possible. So again, another one, the net income calculated by deducting only the variable cost. By deducting only the variable cost. But in the case of the complete, net income calculated after deducting the both the fixed and the variable cost. It is. See, these are the some differences we have between the partial budget and complete budget. So partial budget, it is a more of estimating the cost and return for the part of the enterprise, but we are estimating the cost and return for all the enterprises in the given model can be called as complete budgeting. So at the same time, again, especially in the Indian conditions, we are having some challenges in doing the budgeting technique. It is so more we are having one is the lack of the skill and knowledge among the farmers. So according to the RBI, we are having more than 84% of the small and marginal farmers now they are having the sufficient knowledge with respect to the analyzing the cost and return. So that is the one challenges we have. Second one, lack of the government and institutional support in doing the budgeting among the farming community. Then less penetration of the credit sector in the rural area. Then less awareness generation by the Krishi Vinana Kendra and state agriculture universities in the rural area. Then no record keeping, lack of the digitalization of the data. So these are the some challenges we have in adopting the budgeting technique at the rural level. It is. Apart from this, other challenges for the implementing the farm budgeting, one is the environmental risk, right? Environmental risk matlab we are having the global warming temperature, water scarcity, soil erosion, pollution. All this can damage the crop production. In that cases, budgeting technique is going to be affected. Then income diversification. Smallholder farmers may find it challenging to diversify their income streams. Income streams as opportunities may not be available or may not be as rewarding as commodity production it is. Then so we are having the cover crop cost in generally. Producer may be concerned about the time, the labor and cost of the planting and managing the cover crops here. Then other challenges for the farm budgeting can be lack of the farm equipment sometime, then fragmented land holding, inefficient use of the agriculture inputs by the farmers, then poor availability of the credit, lack of the market access and poor the post harvest infrastructure. So all these challenges can be a barrier for implementing the budgeting technique in the rural areas. See, in these cases, the conclusion in the case of the farm budgeting. So farm budgeting is an important tool. So one of the important tool in the case of the micromanagement of the farm activity. Important tool in the micromanagement of the farm activity to increase the production, and improve the livelihood of the farmers in the sustained manner. Because whatever the tools we have in the case of the farm management, with the help of these tools, we have to increase the livelihood of the farmers in the sustained manner. That is the basic objective we have in the case of the farm management. So even with the help of the farm budgeting, as much as possible, we can able to minimize the leakages. And we can able to minimize the cost of the production and maximize the profit for the farmers in the long run. So these are the mechanisms can be possible with the help of the adoption of the farm budgeting in the rural area. See, again, in this case, the case of the firm budgeting, always we can expect minimum 10 marks can be possible with the help of the firm budgeting. So it's all today. Thank you.